All right, here we are, jumping right into the interview. Special guest for you guys today. Super pumped about this. We got Barstool Hubs, MLB writer, covers the Yanks, right? Correct as well, obviously.
Correct. Yep. Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
Main guy from the short porch. Super pumped to have you on. Just got a couple questions for you today. We'll jump right into it. So, as you know, Luke has got some stuff going on. Foot stuff turned into knee stuff recently, it looked like.
Yep.
Personally, I'm not too worried about it. More or less just disappointed the Yanks waited until the end of March to kind of deal with this. I mean, it almost makes me feel like nothing has changed. What were your kind of first reactions to this? I feel like he's not. I mean, it's coming out looking like he's not going to be gone for that long, but
Yeah.
it's just depressing.
In terms of severity, like definitely in the lower side of it. Not as like worried long term or anything. And it was a partial tear, so they're just cleaning it up. So it seems like they think he's gonna be back like mid-May. And if that's the case, they'll be fine. And I'm not worried about that. I'm just kind of bummed. Like opening day, I want to see Luke Voigt out there. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the heart and soul of the team. And there was some BS trade rumors with him this offseason, which I hated so much because you don't trade the heart and soul of your team who leads the league in home runs. So I was just happy to, see him come out of it, and nothing came of those trade rumors. And I love him at first base, and he gets better every year seemingly. And last year he did it on 1 foot, so you're like, oh, let's see what he can do with 2 feet. And of course, now to your point where you're like, oh, it seems like the same old as usual. I kind of going to respectfully disagree with you there. I think this injury happened in spring. So, like, I don't think it was something that was bothering him in the offseason. I think it happened. It was like you were hearing a little bit of it early spring. And then there was a play. There was a play like a couple weeks ago where he tagged up and went to third when he probably shouldn't have. It was like his first game back. And I think he wanted to test it out. And I think by testing it out, kind of like overdid it. And when he slid into third base, he kind of came up short, kind of came up lame. And then that caused him to kind of sit a little bit. And then they're like, okay, well, what's going on here? And then they figured it out. So I don't think it was something from the offseason. That's happened in the past. I like to think we're past that. And aside from Voigt and obviously Britton and Wilson seems to be a little less severe too, they're pretty healthy. So that's a nice, like it was a more than healthy spring, I like to imagine, especially offensively, where Luke's the only guy who went down. I feel like usually we have 3 or 4 casualties at this point in the lineup. So for the most part, I think they handled this well. I think maybe the old guard would have like played him a little bit longer and then figured then we'd find out like literally the day before opening day. Oh wait, Luke's on the lineup. What's going on? And then we find out. So the fact that they're on top of it, and it's not as severe, and it's just the torn meniscus partial tear. I'm a little more upbeat about it, although I am equally as bummed as you guys because obviously want to see Luke out there.
Yeah,
such a scary thing to just. I don't know. The word torn meniscus just absolutely rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah,
but
the guy I think of with that is Russell Westbrook for whatever reason. I feel like he tore his meniscus like 3 times in his career or something like that, and it was always the same bullshit. Or who else do I think? Well, on a more severe case, Brandon Roy, who basically ended his career. But I always think of that as a basketball injury, torn meniscus, for whatever reason.
Yeah, basketball, football, stuff like that. And I feel like when that happens, they're out for a minute. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I look forward to having Luke Voigt back. But, I mean, I don't really think it happened in the offseason, like you said. But like you said, I feel like it was nagging for the last 3-4 weeks. That's the only thing that bothers me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's
that month difference makes a big difference.
It's sometimes on the player though, just to be honest,
Yeah,
they're like they can't they're not giving you like weekly MRIs and stuff. It's got to be on you to kind of say something. And Luke's not kind of the guy to do that. He likes to play through it. He played through the foot thing last year, the whole season. So it goes both ways. I'm happy that at least they're on top of it. It seems right now, and hope the surgery. I think they underwent. I think it went like yesterday or something like that. So
yeah, yesterday, today, or some shit.
Yeah. So let's just hope he comes back mid-May and he's cooking from then on.
Yeah. Yes, Tyler was talking about on our previous pod. He was like, "Yeah, we're getting through this. I'm okay with Zach Britton being like the only."
Yeah, I was like, "That's the only."
I'm cautiously optimistic, and it's like, God fucking damn it, Tyler! What do you're jinxing
yeah,
us?
I'm happy. I got a little nervous with Clint the other day.
Yeah, he's had a couple instances like running into the wall and stuff.
Yeah, he's gonna stay away from walls, but
he's got to get the feel of the outfield. I feel like.
Yeah, and then he had the sliding situation, which I think his sliding shorts just tore, and they were bothering him. And it obviously to the eye looked worse, but
dude's got some huge quads.
Yeah, Yeah, he does. But I'm glad I was a little nervous, like, oh, here we go. And then
Yeah,
Talkman's
exactly.
down. They haven't really given an update on Talkman's ankle. He fouled the ball off his ankle, but it seems like it's just those guys, and we're gonna be there for open, and then Judge yesterday with the whole cold thing.
Absolute meltdown on Twitter. It was ridiculous.
I mean, they didn't handle it well for the fans to let.
Oh, no.
They let fans really interpret it how they wanted to, and we don't do a good job of that. So that was really scary, and especially with COVID and all that. They're like, oh, Cashman's gonna talk. Like, well, when he talks, nothing ever happens when they tell Boone to shut up. So
exactly.
Look, but oddly enough, it seems like good news there. So
knock on wood.
Just get to Thursday. Just get to Thursday.
Just get us there. So kind of going along. I mean, Luke Voigt is out. It's an opportunity for another guy to step up, and I've been talking about it on the pod. If I had to choose between, and I could see both sides of the argument, but I was kind of looking at Jay Bruce as an option with the lefty bat. I know he didn't have the greatest year with Philly last year. Also, very short sample size with 60 games.
Yeah.
So, but like the thing with, I do really like Jay Bruce, and deciding between Talkman and Bruce, for me, I was going with Bruce personally. Just because I thought that the veteran experience and being a guy that could really, for sake of your guys' name in the short porch, we always go crazy over the short porch every year. Yep. We need the lefty bat to do something. But, I did see it as an opportunity for Jay Bruce, and he could, he's not great at first base. He kind of lumbers at points, but it's something that, could really be a beneficial thing while Voigt is out, to kind of see where the bench spots play a little bit more. It comes from an injury, which isn't great, but it's an opportunity for Bruce to possibly show himself, or Talkman, depending on his injury, to see what we can do with the remaining bench spots after Voigt comes back. But what's your vibe coming off with the bench now? Did you like the Bruce thing? Did you like, what are your feelings on that?
Yeah. So it all starts with Gardner. And all this became complicated once they brought Gardner back, because I never thought they should have brought him back, and I was done with him. And we're, as a podcast, pretty much, we've been done with Gardner for about a year and a half now.
Sheesh.
And what?
I said sheesh.
Oh, yeah.
Tough crowd, huh?
Look at him on the fucking field. Just give me somebody who produces. But no, that really just has to do with Clint. I like Clint not being touched out there.
Yeah,
and just let him do his thing.
Yeah,
I think we as fans deserve a full 162 games out of Clint Frazier in left field, and just see what the hell this guy can do for a full season, because we've seen it in small sample sizes. It's awesome. So let's do it for a full thing. And I think no one will ever utter Brett Gardner's name ever again. Not to say I don't appreciate Brett Gardner, but I just really see the upside in Clint Frazier. That's my gripe with Gardner, people. But bringing Gardner back, he's your fourth outfielder. But Talkman's a better version of Gardner, really. He's just as good, if not a better fielder, because he's younger. They had basically the same exact arm, but I think, sure, Gardner's the more veteran plate presence, but Talkman 2019 was awesome. Sure, he had a bad 2020. A lot of people had bad 2020, so you almost can't necessarily count that against him. It was just a weird year. People didn't have full spring training, so I like what Talkman brings to the table. And when you bring Talkman to this on the bench, now we have 5 outfielders, and it's we need 5 outfielders? So it's
we need some middle infield depth.
Right. And then, so obviously you bring back Wade, which I would have brought on Dietrich. Dietrich just has more pop, and
he's still in the system though,
he is. And I was happy to see that.
He can't play short though, right?
That's the only big issue I think with him. Wade,
but Gio showed you he can play short. So it's you do have your backup shortstop this year. So I don't necessarily think that's a big issue for me, whether Wade can play short or Dietrich or whatever. But we'll see. I think Wade's leash is very short, especially with Dietrich in the alternate site now. I think they've seen enough of Wade to know what he is. If nothing changes, now I don't know how many plate appearances he's going to get. It's tough for a bench guy to really prove himself early. But I would have Dietrich up here quick. That would be my bet. As opposed to Bruce, I like the Bruce. It makes sense. It's a nice guy to have there. To start the season. You're not asking him to do a whole ton. Just catch some baseballs at first base. Don't make a fool of yourself. Hit a few home runs. That's it. Not asking a whole lot. He's going to hit 8th or 9th. Yeah. No, he's not going to hit 9th. He'll probably hit 7th or 8th. So you're not asking that guy to do a whole lot. Just hit a few bombs. Maybe, by mid-May, he's got 6 or 7. That'd be cool. He could accidentally hit a few out in right field with his swing. Just handle himself at first base defensively. I think he's got a good attitude and he's a good clubhouse guy. So there'd be worse people to have at first base for sure, I think.
Yeah. My thing with the, people I see on Twitter and stuff are just saying that like Talkman absolutely blows Bruce out of the water. I don't see that. Like you mentioned the 2019 season.
The spring numbers kind of do.
Yeah, it's fucking
Don't
spring
look
training,
at
dude.
spring
It's spring
numbers.
training, dude.
Then are we going to throw away 2020 numbers if we're throwing away spring numbers and just using 2019 numbers?
But spring is like, dude, there might be guys.
They're playing for a spot though.
Sure, but like there are pitchers on the mound in spring who like aren't just gonna. They're like they go into the day saying like, "Hey, we're not gonna throw curveballs today. Like we're just gonna focus on our fastballs." So it's like you can't take these at bats and these numbers too much. Yeah, is it nice to see Mike Talkman out there swinging a good bat? Absolutely. The guy needed it for confidence for sure. But that all, I think Susan Wallman or John Strong said that. I think it was Sterling. It's like you can hit 400 in spring. If you strike out in your first at bat at the start of the season, no one cares what you did in spring. It's so true. It just doesn't matter. So yeah, it's nice to see for confidence purposes. It means nothing into the translating into what happens on Thursday and beyond. But it's good to see Talkman back out there looking better. He didn't hit a home run last year. That was concerning. He had a few during spring. Nice to see he just has pop again. So I'm expecting a much better Mike Talkman and hopefully a usable Jay Bruce. We just need a usable Jay Bruce.
I'm expecting
serviceable.
I'm expecting a solid Jay Bruce. I think that the sample size of the careers, if you look at Jay Bruce versus, I know, and you look at the age, I mean, Bruce is 3 years older. Yes. And if you want to say that, and people are making money comments, and I think that's just a stupid argument to make. That's dumb. I think the whole thing with Bruce is you look at the sample size of his career. The whole next man up thing for Talkman in 2019 was nice, but my feeling is I would like to go with a more seasoned veteran that is kind of been there, done that, and that's kind of the what I was looking for there. But we're gonna see what both of them can do. So and we know like the whole Tyler Wade thing, bro. It's like. And it goes with Gardner. And I've made this point to Tyler, like the Yankees love who they love and Cashman likes their guys. And, that's just kind of the way that the franchise has worked in the past years. And he likes who he likes. He's going to put in those guys. And that's why I thought there was no way that Talkman would be really left off the roster. Yeah. And like if without that Voit injury, he probably would have made it.
I think there's an ego thing to Cashman too with Talkman. He loves his diamond in the roughs that he finds.
Yeah, he wants to look like he.
And
for sure,
he got Talkman. Voit, Talkman, Hicks got these guys for nothing, and he wants nothing more than to just show off to the rest of the world, like, hey, I'm so much smarter than you. So he don't want to trade Talkman for a bucket of balls. If he's trading Talkman, that asking price is going to be relatively high based on 2019 and his own thoughts of like, yeah, I'm a genius. Like I'm not letting this guy go for nothing and having him do well somewhere else. We know what this guy can do. So. But I don't understand that with Wade. There's something with Wade, whether he has something on Boone or something on Cashman, but it makes it. He's not a good infield. People say like, "Oh, he brings good defense." It's actually a below average fielder. Like
I saw some argument on Twitter a couple days ago that he legitimately may be the worst
hitter,
like long-term ML, like the worst MLB player to ever play for as long as he's
and it's like he's fast. I've seen that guy make so many errors on the base pass, like just like falling asleep out there and like
the playoffs last year. What
correct? Yeah.
He tagged up or some shit. I don't even.
Dude, it happens too much for a guy who just can't hit.
And his job, all he's got to do is run the bases.
Yeah.
People were calling for Estrada yesterday.
I mean. I like Estrada.
He plays well every spring. I don't get why.
That guy shows up. Yeah, he does show up every spring. I am an Estrada guy. I like Estrada. He had a weird. He along with Talkman was very bad last year. Just weird. So I'd like to give him another shot as well. But I like Dietrich. I like Dietrich Wayne out there. I'm excited to see him get up here. Tommy doesn't like him as much, but I don't know. The pop gets me, and the fact that he's like a skinnier version of Luke Voit with like a. How like he just dresses and looks. He's just
absolute
such a character.
Fucking gangster, dude.
Yeah,
that
like
dude
that's
on the
a guy.
roster.
That's a guy who, if you give him enough at bats, he's gonna cause a brawl and he'll be a fan favorite in milliseconds.
He'll be ready to fucking rumble.
I don't know. I'm a sucker for those types of guys. So I'm a decent guy.
Same.
Absolutely. So to pivot a little bit, what are your expectations for the Yanks this season when it comes to pitching rotation? I mean, we all obviously just saw Devi is going to Scranton for a little bit. I don't think, obviously, that's a big deal just because we know he's going to get called up. They're going to be using 6, 7, 8 pitchers for all we know. And I also know, You guys are boys with Clark over there, right? Kind of shitty to see him start the year off on the 60-day IL. Do you see a world where he makes upwards of like 8-9 starts for us? Because somehow we kind of accumulated some sort of starting pitching depth at the end of the season. So I don't know, where does Clark kind of come in when it comes to down the stretch? Could you see him as like a 2-inning bullpen weapon?
Yeah. So to start, I love where the rotation's at. I love how they built it. Kind of came out of nowhere. It looked like they were doing nothing this offseason. All of a sudden, we get here in April, and it's like, boom. Kind of love what we got cooking here. To start off, obviously, it all starts and ends with Garrett Cole. So nice to have him as a table setter. And then you're looking at, I love the Abbott Kluber. That was a guy on my wish list all offseason long. The ultimate, I think, buy low, high reward type guy. Who, if he's healthy, I love the stuff he's going to bring. He's got his movement back, which is nice. I think the control is missing, but that will maybe come over time because he's been pitching 2 years. So that, the command was missing a little bit during spring. Not really as worried about that. He's sitting like 90-92. That's all you can ask for. We're not asking for Cy Young Corey Kluber. We're asking for like a number 3 pitcher, number 4 pitcher out of Corey Kluber. If he can give you that with some innings, you take it. I'm very high on Tyone. We had him on the podcast. That guy's awesome. Anytime he's healthy, and obviously he's had a bad run of luck with obviously testicular cancer and 2 runs with Tommy John.
Crazy.
Not easy, but when he's on the field, he's been on the field for about 3.5 seasons, 4 seasons. The numbers are all across the board good.
Pitch his dick off.
Yeah, so I'm super excited with him. He changed up his motion. He shortened it a little bit. Well, not a little bit, a lot of it. To the point where he told us he was throwing with Garrett Cole, and Cole was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" Like he didn't recognize his boy like throwing him because he looks so different. So I'm high on him. I think it's tough. I think they're going to baby him to start. With him not even in the first 5.
They have him going,
which is fine. That's fine. That's like
I'm cool with it. Yeah.
Dude,
it's a marathon, dude.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't care what you give me in April and May. If you give it to me in August, September, October, I don't really care what happens in April, May.
Exactly.
Just get cooking, get in a rhythm. So I obviously love those 3 guys. I'm very high on Montgomery this year. I think I like what he's. I think people got too hard on him last year. His first year back from Tommy John. They had the interrupted, obviously spring trading and the weird startup in the summer where you're pitching to your same guys every day in Yankee Stadium and it's weird. He started coming to his own a little bit at the end of the year, and obviously that Game 4 start against the Rays was rock solid. So I love when he's healthy and going. I think he's got a lot of potential to the point where I think he's going to win. I made this prediction on the pod. I think he's going to have the second most wins on the team. I think a lot about Montgomery in 2021, and then Domingo Germán, who is a scumbag, no question about it. But he's also a pretty good pitcher, and he showed a lot in spring. And I'm a fan of giving people second chances. Obviously, varies, murdering people bad.
Not good.
Tough to do that. And he did a very bad thing, but he has shown growth. You have to show growth, and I think that everyone was kind of holding him accountable in that locker room, and good that they did. So you can only hope that he continues on this path and has the right head on his shoulders and handles his business the way he has been, because I think he's done it the right way since he showed up to camp. And he's pitched well, and that guy is
he could be something for us.
He's a year removed from winning 18 games. So you throw him in the rotation. Obviously, you mentioned Devi, who this rotation is so good that Devi Garcia didn't make it out of spring, and Devi had a pretty good spring.
Sevy will be back at some point too.
And then there's Severino too. Yeah. And then we mentioned Clark, who they're not rushing back because they don't need to rush him back right now. Why would you rush Clark Schmidt back at this moment?
Yeah. I just want to see him pitch so bad.
For sure. And I talked to him, and he's bummed, obviously, but like he's they have a lot of trust and belief in him. And I think they have plans for him in the second half of the season when he gets right. And now I don't know if it's gonna be bullpen or in the rotation. Obviously matters who's standing. You never know who's going to be hurt by then. But I like to think this team is always riddled with injuries some way, somehow. And I think Clark Schmidt will find his way into pitching meaningful baseball around the July, August time. And, he'll be a name frequently heard in these circles. So, yeah, I like where the rotation's at. I'm a little worried about the bullpen, but I do like the additions they made. Obviously, Justin Wilson's got to get healthy, but I like the Darren O'Day ad. I like getting rid of Ottavino. It's gonna be a little tricky, very out of the gates, because obviously no Britton. no Wilson, and no Chapman, because Chapman suspended the first 2 games because of the Rays incident. So they're really handcuffed to start the beginning of the season
A lot of
against the
righties.
Jays.
A lot
Yeah,
of
for
righties.
a lot of righty. Yeah, I don't think they've officially made the call yet, but I imagine Lucas Luetge made the team. I can't
Yeah.
imagine how he didn't, and they don't have a lefty without him to start the season. So
Yeah.
I think he deserved it, but we'll see. But overall, I mean, nothing hiding that I love this team, and I think there's a lot going for them to start the season. I like where they're at on all bases.
Yeah, pitching staff's looking, real high upside this year. So I mean, we've made the argument with some other people that we've been on pods with that that they may have like the best pitching staff in the American League possibly at some point. It could end up being if things pan out, it's a really good pitching staff. So
yeah,
talking along with American League, we've been talking about really this is the year for the Yankees really to at least get to the World Series, and then obviously it's another story beating beating the Dodgers or beating San Diego or whoever it is, man. So like, I mean, that's our expectations. That's what we want this year. But if you were to fear anyone other than the Dodgers or anyone over in the National League, is it the White Sox? Does the Blue Jays, not really for me, the Blue Jays. I still think the Rays could possibly be sneaky, but I still think we're better than them. So what's your vibe with the competition in the American League?
So obviously the Dodgers are the team to beat, no question. I mean, they added Trevor Bauer to a team that just won the World Series. David Price is pitching on the bullpen for them. So, I mean, they're going to be...
Dustin May made it over him, right? Or
crazy.
The starting rotation, yeah.
Crazy. So, I mean, they're the team to beat. Obviously, they always will be until they're dethroned. That team is disgusting and only getting better. And I'm sure if they feel the need to add during the deadline, they will, because the team just knows how to do it.
Just do what they want.
For me, though, like the National League, I don't even think about them, because if I have to think about them, that means that my team's in the World Series, and then I like my team's chances. So I never really am like, oh, who do I fear in the National League? It's like, if I have to fear somebody, that means that it's World Series time. The Yankees made it, so feeling pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
The American League, and this was our fear for a while now. It got blown away because the Yankees started to add people and they re-signed DJ and they did the right thing. But we were worried that they were going to get complacent and they were going to see that the Rays got worse because they let Snell go. Alvarado moved on, Morton moved on. The Rays got worse. Like, I know they're going to have guys come up here, and Wander Franco is obviously going to come up and be a menace, and we'll see what Arozarena does in this encore year or whatever. But they're not going anywhere, but they're not better than they were last year or as good. But they'll be around. They'll hang around. They'll be second in the AL, probably third in the AL, depending what Toronto does. Now, I agree with you with Toronto. I do not fear them because they just refuse to add starting pitching. And I will never, like, Robbie Ray doesn't make me, like, that doesn't even make me close to flinch, hearing Robbie Ray's name. I think he fell downstairs, I'm pretty sure, like a couple weeks ago. So, like, that's not a guy. Yeah, I'm like
Jesus
pretty sure.
Christ.
Yeah, they're pretty banged up heading into the opening day, actually. And then
Springer's hurt too.
Springer's hurt. Yeah, they have a few guys. Ryu is obviously the opening day guy. That's never a guy that scares me. I remember someone was asking me the other day about him, and I remember the Yankees played LA a couple years ago. They were in their black jerseys, and Ryu is pitching the first game, I think it's Paxton, and Ryu was coming into that game with like a .3 ERA. And then I was just like, I think they're going to destroy this guy. And I do not believe he lasted 4 innings. I think he gave up like 8 runs in like 3 2/3. They destroyed him.
Yeah, when he goes up against I've always thought with him, when he goes up against like stacked lineups like the Yankees, like I don't really, he doesn't really like make me soil my shorts or like anything. Like he doesn't he doesn't scare me, dude. Like
no,
anything.
Plus you throw a lefty against the Yankees at any point, I'm not going to be concerned one bit because I mean, we're all righties for the most part. I guess now except for Bruce, but the Jays rotation, I thought they're going to go get Bauer. I thought they're going to throw like all the money at him. They did not do that. So unless the Jays start to add people, pitching wise, that offense is great, but you need pitchers and they don't have any. So the Jays don't scare me as much. The Rays are there, but they don't scare me as much. Although I'll probably like reconsider that 2 weeks in when I see them just like winning these scrappy games and being 10-3 out of the gate or whatever. The White Sox aren't going anywhere. That team's awesome. They added Lance Lynn. Obviously losing Eloy is not great for them. But they're stacked all around. and they're going to call up this kid Andrew Vaughn, who's awesome. So the White Sox are definitely a team. I'm not going to say the Twins are because they're the Minnesota Twins, and it don't matter. Every year, I think I think like, this is the year, isn't it, where they win a few games in the playoffs and like maybe give it, and it's just like nope, sweep every single year. So that's not the team that I'm going to be scared of. Oakland is always pesky. Houston got worse, losing Springer, and Verlander's done for the year. So it's not going to be Houston. So it really is the Yankees league to lose. Like they really would have to beat themselves, I think, unless it's the White Sox. But even then, I like my chances, just based off experience. So, I mean, it's really tough not to like the Yankees this year.
Literally barring the only thing that I can think that even is injuries. Like that's the only thing at this point that could even heading into the postseason. If we're, it seems like in years that we've just gotten healthy immediately for the postseason, but that's the only thing that I think can derail us at this point is, it's the same thing every year. The last full season we had the most amount of injuries by, I believe it was August in history. So crazy, dude. So that's the only thing. And completely agree. And we're going to be, Yankees Twitter is going to be talking about it all year. This is our fucking league to lose. It's our time to go up against the Dodgers and take the crown this year for sure.
It's been too long, man. It's been too long.
Yes.
I think all these guys think the same thing. Aaron Judge, Glaber, they're all hungry. I'm expecting a giant year out of Glaber, like an MVP type year out of Glaber.
I'm saying.
So I love the mentality he took coming in the spring, and I think he just wasn't in shape last year. I think you're gonna see a monster this year out of him. I'm very, very excited. This offense, people just sleep on Glaber. They just really don't talk about. They talk about Giancarlo. They talk about Voit. They talk about Judge. Talk about DJ. Everyone just forgets about Glaber.
Forget about 2019 Glaber. Dude hit 38 home runs, had a 9-something OPS.
There's a reason he's one of the
blows my mind.
There's a reason he's one of the more untouchable contracts in baseball because of how cheap he is and how much team control he's under. It's because he's so fucking good. So I'm very much looking forward to a resurgent Glaber Torres year. And I have a lot of faith in him. I have a lot of faith in the whole team, and I like their chances in the American League for sure. How can you not?
Let's fucking get it.
So this is kind of a non-Yankees related question, but I got to know, are you certified in social work or something? Because you do a podcast with two guys that are very entertaining to listen to, but you're quite the moderator, Hubs, I must say, because they throw some interesting takes out there. And then sometimes they try and clown you for not agreeing with them. And it blows my mind. It's baffling to me.
Anytime they're disagreeing with me, I know that I'm in the right, and I'm anytime they try to gang up, I'm like, okay, well, you guys are being absolutely ridiculous here. It's not easy being the host. Let's say that. To reel those guys in, but it's part of the job. Marty does his college basketball podcast, Bench Mob, and I think he's not necessarily in my role, but in a more of my role than he is on the short porch. And he goes, it's not easy doing what you do. I'm like, no, it is not, Marty. It is not at all.
Especially with them too.
Buffoons. Yeah, because he does his with Rico Bosco, and he's insane too. Love Rico, but he's a little bit of a character. Everyone's character, but it's my job to reel everyone in, do the ad reads, and make sure we get from point A to point B.
I listened to the last one, and could not agree more though with his Trevor Bauer just. Hatred every time that I want that guy to just fucking suck.
I can't stand him either.
It would be very funny if he's just bad this year.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
He's got the long hair now. What was his last outing? Didn't he get fucking lit up?
He got lit up. He got lit up, and then said afterwards he wasn't trying in that inning.
Yeah. What the hell was with that
Such
bullshit?
a dickhead.
No,
Oh my and then God. Scott, the Mariners manager, was like,
oh yeah, he came back with
he's
comments.
like, we weren't trying for the first 4 innings either, and then we tried in the 5th inning. So funny how that works.
Yeah,
I love that. That was we're always on a warpath with Bauer, whether he knows it or not.
I think a lot of even some Dodger fans have come out and been like, we don't like what this guy is doing on social media.
Well, I mean, he was tweeting about immigration and shit.
Yes.
Man, just turn your Twitter off. What are you saying?
He just flies off the rails sometimes with his Twitter, but
just answers to too many. He just talks to too many people.
Yeah, for pitches with one eye. The one eye thing is driving.
Yeah. He's just, I get what he's trying to be different and fun and all that. And then he just doesn't understand the line really. And he's like, oh, wait, this is really lame. And he doesn't realize that.
If I was a hitter, I'd be tight too. I'd be like, all right, this guy's like disrespecting the shit out of me right now.
Yeah, I mean, people are just gonna. He's gonna have a target on his back all year. People are gonna look to destroy him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully it's Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis doing that.
Oh,
That'd be fun.
that would be
I would
a
love
fun
it.
NLCS.
I would love it.
Yeah, for sure.
You got anything? You got anything, Rob? Before we wrap this up?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I would say, are you going to some games this? Obviously, like when's
Yeah,
like
I'm
the
going,
soonest you're going?
Yeah, I'm going April 7th, and I'm going against the Orioles, and I'm going the 21st against the Braves. Very excited.
Go
I'm going
to
to
first
series
stop.
too.
Go to first stop for the bars. Where are you going?
I'm a Billy's guy because I love space and being able to get my drink when I wanted to.
Yes,
Whereas,
big
like,
time.
Stands is like you have to be in a certain type of vibe for Stands, I feel like, because it's so small. I also don't know how Stands is going to be with COVID because it's such a small area. I feel like they can only let like 4 people in that place without being at like max capacity. Whereas Billy's is like a converted bowling alley, so it's gigantic. There's nothing like Billy's on like a weekend afternoon game. And you can go there and hang out at the rooftop, whatever. Have a few Coronas, whatever, Miller Lights, and just enjoy like the sun or whatever. And then you just go enjoy a baseball game. It's nothing like that, and I can't wait to get it back. But yeah, I'm going. They only did tickets, I think, for April because I think they're gonna reevaluate in May. Hopefully, allow more people in. But I'm excited. I cannot wait to. I was walking back from work today, and it was like 55 degrees out or whatever. I'm like, damn, I can't
Getting your
wait.
blood pumping.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, I can't wait to just get back in the stadium like this time, like in a week
Yeah.
or whatever. That's gonna be so cool. So I'm very, very, very excited. Thank God we're getting back to normal life here.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm going to the Orioles series too. I got tickets to Monday, but I'm nervous about this whole test thing. I feel like they're going to be harsh about it, and I don't know. I might plan a rapid test and the other one.
I don't think I think they're planning something with your vaccine if you got vaccinated. I think.
So
Yeah, but I think you got to be.
If you're
fully
vaccinated, you can get in, but you gotta be fully vaccinated, obviously. Otherwise, it's a rapid within 6 hours of game time.
Yeah, that's gonna just be.
So like, I got to do that for I'm going to the Knicks game on Friday. So I got, so I had to schedule my vaccines at 1:30. Sorry, no, my COVID test is at 1:30. I'm getting actually my first vaccine shot at 2:30, and then Knicks game's at 7:30. So I have like a whole schedule of fucking things to do on Friday.
Quite the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Hubs, we appreciate you coming on today, man. It's make or break time for the Yankees. Hopefully, by the end of the season, we're at our eventual goal. And best of luck to you and the boys with the short porch, and continue doing your guys' thing. And we'll probably catch you around on Yankees Twitter at some point, and maybe converse and takes or something. And,
yeah, maybe
we'll
see you guys at the stadium for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. We'll
sometime.
grab a beer together. Yeah, Rob, Tyler, appreciate it, guys. Appreciate having me on. Go Yanks.
Thank you, Hubs.
Thank you.
You got it.